So you wanna be a picture book writer, then you gotta write picture books. And you're gonna need a bucket load of bright ideas for titles, plots, and hooks. If you're partial to prose or you're raring to rhyme, then repeat after me. It's a challenge, but I'm gonna tackle each story 1 month at a time with 12 by 12.
Okay, hello everybody. I am Julie Hedlund. If you don't know me, I am the founder of the 12 by 12 Picture Book Writing Challenge. And I am so excited to be launching our latest, greatest, brand new series, which is a 12 by 12 book chat. Valerie Bolling is our guest this evening. She is graciously offered to be the guinea pig and be the first person to test out this new series. Valerie lives and writes from Greenwich, Connecticut. She is an educator and her career spans 28 years, including both elementary and middle school, and now as an instructional coach who collaborates with teachers to find strategies to enhance student learning. So in addition to being a fabulous picture book author, she also understands a great deal about how to teach reading and love of books and how to teach books to kids. Her book, Let's Dance, which she's going to read tonight and chat about, is her debut picture book. It was published in 2020 by Boyd's Mills Press and was an SCBWI Crystal Kite winner and a Connecticut Book Award finalist. Valerie is also an active, much valued member of our 12 by 12 Picture Book Writing Challenge. She serves on our Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee and is a co-chair of our affinity group for Black creators in 12 by 12. And so we are delighted to showcase Valerie and her book tonight.
Thank you so much, Julie. It is a pleasure to be here with the 12 by 12 community and also guests. I'm very glad that all of you could be here this evening. So I am going to read my book, Let's Dance. So here we are, title page, and we are going to start. And we are going to take a trip around the world and learn different dances. So our first stop is Spain for flamenco dance, tappity tap, fingers snap. And I invite children, I say, can you tap your fingers? And if I was able to see you on Zoom, I scroll through and say, oh, look at so-and-so, go, tap your fingers or tap your feet and snap your fingers. And I also point out our male friend on this page who's holding a cane because he's blind. And now we travel from Spain to India for Kathak dance, turn, twirl. Look at the perspective the illustrator Maine has drawn here. Turn, twirl, twist, whirl. And I love to point out the twirling braid and dress. And I also like to say, look at the jingle jangles on her ankles. And from India, we go to another country that begins with I. And I ask kids sometimes if they can guess where we're traveling next. And then I say, that is the end of the story, but it's not the end of the book. And the reason I say that is because there's back matter. And I give suggestions about things they can do, that they can learn more about a dance in the book they like, or even one that's not in the book. They can draw a picture. They can write their own dance story. They might want to look at some videos of the dancers doing the dances in the book, or maybe their own cultural dance, or listen to the music, or find the countries on a map.
Oh, that was so much fun. How did you get the idea for this story? And how did you choose which dances to feature?
Sure. So the idea really came from just like, for a lot of my books, it's what I observe kids doing. And I notice I have nieces who love to dance. I wrote this book when they were 2 and 4, and they would dance while brushing their teeth and just, anytime there's music. And I've noticed that even babies, they who can barely stand or walk, they put their hands up, and 90-year-olds dance. So it's a way to sort of come together. It doesn't matter who you are, your background. It's something we can all enjoy. And I like to really write joy books and books that celebrate diversity and community. And so I just thought this would be a great way to do that. And in terms of the dances, I know that you know, Julie, as do a lot of the writers, that you're really not supposed to use a lot of illustration notes. So the only illustration note I had in the manuscript I submitted was for the last stanza, and I wrote, "The sheep are dancing." That was it. So
Really?
the editor, yes. So when the editor, Jess Negron, acquired the book, she asked me to go through and name which dances I thought matched with the words. And some I was very clear about, some I wasn't as clear about, but tappity tap finger snap, I'm thinking tap dance. Glide and slide side to side. For me, that was electric slide or cha-cha slide. Even the story of jiggity jig, zigzag zig, that was actually, I wrote, there should be a boy in a wheelchair, because I had been at a wedding. It was actually a wedding of a former student, and her cousin was there, and he was in a wheelchair, and he was dancing his behind off. He had the wheelchair tilted back like this, and it reminded me of this zigzag zig movement. So I turned everything in, and Jess accepted it. There were two stanzas. There was one, I think, hippity hop, bippity bop, and she thought that was similar to breakdancing. So we deleted that one. And there was one other stanza. I can't remember what it was now, but she suggested that be deleted. And those were the only edits she made. And then that also left room for those two back matter pages. So that was in July. And then in October, I got an email from her saying, "I think we're missing an opportunity here. I think your words can be matched to cultural dances." So she re-envisioned tappity tap as flamenco, and what I thought was going to be electric slide or cha-cha slide is Chinese long sleeve dancing, and jiggity jig as Irish step dancing. So the only actual cultural dance that I had associated with another country was cuckoo. That one I had named specifically because, as I said, that's a dance I had learned in college. And of course, you know, breakdancing or ballet, those, you know, they're not necessarily, you know, associated, you know, in the way like Kathak from India, which I had never heard of before. So she came up with those ideas, and I had told her from the beginning, I want this book to be diverse. I said, I want a lot of, you know, Black and brown kids. I want kids we don't typically see in books. And she agreed to that, but she took my desire, Julie, and elevated it even higher. I mean, with the sort of global vision. So I was very, very pleased.
Yeah. I mean, that is such, it's just, I got goosebumps because it's such an amazing story about the magic that happens when you bring creative people together who are all putting their talents in service to making a great book for kids. There was a question earlier that I think you'd be a great person to address, which is, do you think it's important to have a social media presence when looking for an agent? Because I think you do have a particularly great presence. And quite honestly, one of the reasons we have more than 200 people here tonight is because you did such a great job of sharing and getting the word out about this event. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure, thank you. When the book first came out, Let's Dance, I don't even know if I had 200 followers on Twitter. I wasn't very active, and it's been I've been sort of inching up, and I try to post something, even if it's a retweet, at least once a day. But I'm not, you know, there are people who are tweeting constantly, you know, many times throughout the day, and I don't do that. But I do think it's helpful. Someone had asked in another group, do I need to be on social media to get an agent or to publish a book? And my answer is no, you don't. But I feel you miss out on a lot of information if you're not. I mean, there's PB Chat coming up with Mindy Elise Weiss. There are, the Black creators have had this amazing auction going on for weeks. 12 by 12 announcements are made. So you miss out on a lot, I think, if you're not on at least some platform. I'm most active on Twitter, and I've heard that writers, educators, librarians tend to be most active there, whereas on Instagram, it's more illustrators. And so I try to post something every now and then on Instagram, but I don't tend to interact there as much. I also took a class this summer. It was like a one-day, not even one day, it was an hour or two session. And the person was talking about social media, and she suggested as well a Facebook author page. So I have a Facebook author page. Again, I don't interact there as much as I do on Twitter. Twitter is where I am the most. But I think it's important because I think you will miss information if you're not part of the Twitter writing community.
You've mentioned a few times how important it was for you to feature diversity. And you said specifically you wanted a boy in a tutu, and what you got was even better. But were there any other specific notes that you gave about that? Or did you just say, I want it to be diverse and let the illustrator?
I was a bit more specific. I did say, because I had wanted that boy in the wheelchair for
okay.
It didn't end up there. He didn't end up there. He's in the disco spread. And I did say blind, and we talked about, would that be okay? Like, what would be appropriate? Or someone in a hijab, not knowing, is dancing okay? What dance would be okay? I just knew I really wanted kids to pick this up and be able to see themselves. And I've had it happen. I've had, a girl say, oh, my mom wears that, talking about a hijab, or a boy, a 6th grade boy saying, when I told the story about the boy at the wedding who had cerebral palsy, he said, I have cerebral palsy. So the fact that kids relate, and they'll say, I've read it to a group you can think called Mocha Moms, and they said they have not seen a book that had this much diverse representation and the different skin tones and so forth. And the illustrator is actually, she lives in Argentina, speaking of, world connections, and she is absolutely lovely.
I had such a great time. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So did I. Good night, everyone.
Night.
Do it together, so never you fear. It's a handy little way to help you kick into gear. You're amazing, exciting. Look out, 'cause you're writing 12 by 12. 12 manuscripts. 12